Hey guys, so I am really excited to share this recipe with you. I love these cookies. These cookies were the epitome of my childhood happiness, and I finally found a recipe for them. So let's go ahead and get started. So for these cookies, you're going to need a stick of softened butter, a half a teaspoon of vanilla, a half a cup of milk, a half a teaspoon of baking powder and salt, 2 cups of cake flour, 1 egg, and 14 tablespoons of sugar. So in a large bowl, I'm just going to start by combining my cake flour and my salt and baking powder in a sieve, and I'm just going to sift it together like really well. Make sure there are no lumps or anything nasty in my flour. And once I'm done with that, I'm just going to grab my whisk and run it through a few times and just set that aside. So for the next part, I'm going to start on my batter, and I'm going to start by adding my butter to my stand mixer on medium speed and letting that whip until it gets light and fluffy. And yes, I said cookie batter. This cookie is more like a cake than a cookie, but you'll see as we keep going. And as usual, I'm going to give my bowl a really good scrape down to make sure that there are no lumps or clumps in my batter. And as my butter is getting whipped up really well, I'm going to go ahead and start gradually adding in my sugar. And I'm going to let this whip and get all nice and fluffy for a pretty good while. So after about 5 minutes, when the mixture gets like really white and fluffy and kind of looks like mashed potatoes, about this texture right here, that's when you know it's done and you can start adding in your other ingredients. So first I'm going to go ahead and add in my egg. And as usual, I'm going to wait for that to get fully incorporated before I add in anything else. Okay, so now is a good time to go ahead and mix in my vanilla, and I'm just let that whip together really well before we go on to the next phase. In this part of the recipe, we're going to be adding in our dry and wet ingredients, and we're going to do 3 parts dry and 2 parts wet. So right now I'm just adding in a little bit of my flour, and then half of my milk, and just really carefully so nothing splashes or splatters anywhere. Some more of my flour, the rest of my milk, and then the last bit of my flour. And you want to mix this until everything is just combined and stop. You do not want to overwork this cookie. You will have a tough cookie if you do. And since it's done, I'm just going to fold it gently to make sure there's nothing left over. And I'm going to grab a Wilton piping bag and place it into a really large cup. And gradually add in my batter so that I can add it to my cookie sheet. And you don't have to use a piping bag, but it just kind of makes the whole process a lot less messy and a little easier. So I'm just going to pipe my batter onto my cookie sheet in large swirly circles. And then I'm just going to pop that into the oven at 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes. While that's going, I'm going to go ahead and start on my cookie glaze, and I left a full description and all your ingredients in the link below also. I am so sorry for the camera angle on this one, guys. I do not know what happened, but as you can see, I'm taking a tablespoon of light corn syrup and I'm just adding it directly into my powdered sugar. And then I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of whole warm milk and pop that in too. And mix it together really well until it's very smooth and very creamy. And once we've gotten to about this texture right here, I'm going to go ahead and add in my almond extract and my vanilla extract. And again, just mix that up really well until everything's combined, and then add in a few drops of food coloring and stir that in once again. And now I'm going to grab a handful of my little mini chocolates, and I'm going to take a tablespoon of that glaze we just made and add it straight into there, and just a few teaspoons of warm whole milk. And I'm going to pop that in the microwave for 10-second intervals until it's nice and smooth and creamy. And then I'm going to add that into my little sandwich bag so that I can use it to pipe on the smiley face for my cookies. Now that your cookies are done, go ahead and let them cool completely, and then you can start decorating. Now that my cookies are all completely cooled, I'm going to take my glaze and I'm going to use a tablespoon and just plop a little bit on top of each cookie and work it around until the cookie is completely covered. Now you can grab that nice chocolate mixture that we made and start gently putting the face on all of your little cookies. And that's it. Beautiful bakery style cookies right at home. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you try it out for yourselves. Let me know how it turned out for you, and I'll catch you on the next one.